Well, hello, my lovelies. I hope you are all well. There could be music still playing. I don't know. I'll check. Welcome to our live. I am doing a real quick sound check and we're going to get rolling. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. I just had to make sure I wasn't having music playing on the top of me. We have an all-star panel tonight. Hello, my lovelies. Natural Healing, Lucy Luhu, Roe Virgo 22, Summer Snow, Dixie Bishop, the Archer and the Empress Tarot. Hello, everyone. Hi, Karen Guy, Dana Lynn. Welcome, everyone, to 1111 True Crime. You guys, I want to tell you what we're about to read and see with our own eyes. It's starting to be like, what the hell is going on in Idaho moment, okay? All right, now this happens to be about Missouri. Now I know you're like, what does that have to do with Idaho? Well, because this is a demonstration of how federal, well, first of all, let me thank the 1111 family member that sent me the article about cowboy tactics. And it goes into accountability that is avoided by drug task forces. Okay, so this is somebody's opinion, and this is the story that they're reporting. This is a live. You can hear the dogs. This story was written on January 2nd, 2020. So we're going to go back a little bit. Hey, Pammy B. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. She says hello to everyone. Hey, Sassy. Yes, one of our it's just amazing how smart you guys are because you're always paying attention. Now, I will say this. Let me get this set up real quick. I will say this though. For those of you that are sending me photographs with blurry images, I wear bifocals. I can't see anything in those images, even if I want to. I can't see anything. And I've also received links that you guys just threw out there with no title, and I'm not clicking that. So just be aware if you're not getting a response from me, there was something about the delivery of it, or maybe it got spammed because I do get a lot of emails. But this is from a really good source here, but it is somebody's opinion. And it connects me to a lot of thoughts about how other states work that get the same federal grants and funding and all that. So, without further ado, I want you to, let's see, what do we want to do first? Okay, let's switch to our browser. Hold on. Do you remember when the cowboy guy with the cowboy hat and those other suspiciously like undercover feds or something went into the 1122 King Road home on December 8th, which would have been like, what would it be, 22 days before Kohlberger gets arrested? And about 3 weeks after the crime, almost. Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to figure it all out. And these cowboys came in and went into the home, and it's very fascinating how they were all obsessed with the kitchen. Okay, that's the lights that were on. Is certain rooms in the house they went to. Now, even Angela Lansbury here, whoever she is, even she says and is questioning why the kitchen. Okay. And I was reviewing this and I caught the end where the reporter states that these fellas had Washington plates. So that's where the huge drug bust happens in what, March of the next year is Washington. So this could all be interesting. I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions. But feel free to, oh, thank you, Sassy. Hold on. She is such a good mod. I love my moderators. Where is it? Fair use disclaimer. Everything I say here is my humble opinion. I invite you to do your own research, you guys. In fact, I darn right encourage it. All right. This gets crazy. All right. I keep saying all right because it just blows my mind. Here we go. Maybe.
House time. We're day 25, Nancy, and there's still activity there. What was happening?
Yes. Yeah, less than an hour ago, we were here, and about 5 plainclothes investigators, we don't know if they're local, state, federal, they were inside, and we saw.
I know somebody is going to hit me because I stopped it already. But I've got to show you guys this. Now, this is finger painting in the dark. Okay? This is finger painting in the dark. There's no fact. This is my humble opinion, but I've watched this video like 10 times, and I'd say, now keep this in mind, I am personally telling you, I am probably 99% chance wrong. But there's always that 1% chance. So I want you to look close. Feel free to tell me I'm crazy, and I will accept that. But when they come out of the kitchen, there's a guy with a beard, and in my mind, he looks like Jack D. And I'm like, did they take Jack D in the house to have something shown to him or them? Was he showing them something or what? Look at this. It's right here. Okay, I want to back it up a little bit. But do you see that? Now, I could be completely wrong. But that is the same guy, in my opinion, in the way he looks. They look the same. I shouldn't say the same guy. They look the same. And I'm like, is that Jack D? But hold on. Let's look at this. All right, the first guy goes through. Watch it. It's quick.
We don't know if they're local, state, federal.
Do you see that? Okay, let's try and catch him sooner. All right, here we go.
We don't know if they're local.
All right, are you seeing him right here? Got the little beard, the mustache. He's keeping his brim down low.
State.
I don't know. There it doesn't as much look like him. It looks like a reddish color hair. And I believe he had dark hair by now. So it's probably me being silly. None of them show their face. They all hide from the camera. Because they're probably true undercovers that don't want their face known. Here we go.
Federal, they were inside, and we saw a lot of activity inside the home, and the home was lit up. So we were able to peek in some of the windows, but we saw those men inside the home in the 2 particular rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back?
Do you see that right there? He's got something flat and black in his hand. And it's too small to be like a bone. It fits neatly in his hand. Let's pull it back a second. Okay, here he goes.
I asked them a couple of times, why?
See it? Do you see it? What is that?
Are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in 2 vehicles. One had a Washington state plate. The other had an Idaho plate.
One had a Washington plate and one had an Idaho plate. Okay, so you guys feel that's not Jack. Okay, thank you. Too heavy and short. Let me watch him walk again, you guys. Hold on. Here we go.
Rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them.
Well, that's definitely not Jack, because that guy weighs about, 80 pounds heavier than Jack. All right, thank you. Excellent point.
Them a couple of times. Why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in two vehicles. One had a Washington State plate. The other had an Idaho plate. But that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned.
So before we continue, Big Mikey says a bag of DOP, right? And it does make you wonder if it had anything to do with rugs that could be in a hole in the wall. Did they, at this point, did they get that JJP email type information? Because that was even going around back then, probably. Did they get some sort of a tip or something like that about rugs? Okay. And go back in and look in that kitchen to see if anything had been flushed. I'm asking what you guys think. Gemini 65 says, I thought the beds. Natural Healing says, one of those bent down to the floor in Xana's room. Interesting, you guys. Dana Lynn says, it's a memory stick that took out all info from the computers and Wi-Fi. They are drug tests that are federal undercover, in my opinion. Robin Davis Duckworth says, would it be viral? What do fentanyl vials look like? Oh, would it be a vial? It looks flat and black. It could be a jump drive for all I know. Heck, it could be something out of his billfold. I don't know. I'm just saying it just looked weird. Karen Guy says, at this point, I think everyone who was there is involved in one way or another. Well, now, this is interesting because we're going to go ahead. We're going to play this out. I'm going to try not to interrupt unless somebody makes some comment that I need to share real quick. It's about 3 more minutes. Hi, Edward Buchanan. How are you? Or Banana Chin. I don't know how to say your last name. We're going to call you Edward B. Maybe they made out it was a drug going down. Maybe. I don't know. It could be a flash drive, says Lucy Lou. All right, lovelies, get ready. We're going to play this all the way out. It's got about 3 minutes left. I'll try not to stop it because we've got a big night, and I want to share with you why all of this that I'm showing you could be very important to the IDAHO4 case. Okay? Here we go.
To their families.
So I'm just watching these guys as they're walking by you. Were you asking them questions and were they effectively just ignoring
Yes.
you? Did they say hello? Did they say
Yes.
anything at all?
Not a peep. And I asked them specifically, why are you here tonight? Why are you here tonight? They did not acknowledge me. So certainly they were on a mission and they left without.
Hold on a damn minute. I thought the same thing, and I wasn't going to say anything because I thought, well, I'm the only one. But I'm trying to see who else said it. I can't see where it said it, but someone said, oh, Dana Lynn says, y'all remember how big Jack D looked in the Corner Club pics? Let me ask you guys something. What if that wasn't really Jack D in the Corner Club that the girls were talking to? What if it just happens to be a guy named Adam? And what if that Adam actually is this dude? I'm just asking silly questions, you know. Just wondering. Let's see. Because that dude, to me, looks a lot more like the pictures of the guy in the Corner Club. Natural Healing's like, hold up. So, what if Oh, Lordy, this gets crazy. I'm just saying, is it just me? Give me a one if you think, okay, give me a one if you think about the corner club JD picture and look at this dude and tell me what you think. Give, give me one and tell me what you think. Give me a one if you think they look alike. I'm like thrown off by this, you guys. That's true. Sweet and Salty says, I don't think it was JD in the bar. Well, I added the bar part, but she says, parents never confirmed. So Dana Lynn agrees. They favor. You guys are all ones. In the mouth only, says Natural Healing. The rest of you are ones, except for in Ed. There are two. And Struts 6142. Right, JD's mustache isn't that sparse. This is a full-blown mustache. And then you look at... Do I have that picture? Hold on. Hold on. We're going to get into that in a minute. Let's go. Idaho 4. Whoops. Corner club image. Let's take a look ourselves. Where's a good one? Something a little cleaner. Maybe this one? Oh, yeah.
What is up, a ticket Mel? And
Whoa.
everybody is talking.
I just want the image, dude. All right. Let's do this. Okay. I got the deed. All right. Let's get it up on screen. Let's make it a lot smaller here. Can we compare them? Y'all, what? Okay, when this dude goes to the car, they even have the same kind of color coat on. Okay. Maybe it's just Mama D. All right, let's fast forward it. Let's get him outside the building, though, where he's walking. I want to look at him. I want to see what color shoes he's got and what they look like. So they're dark shoes. That doesn't matter. All right, here we go.
Took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in two vehicles. One had a Washington State plate. The other had an Idaho plate. But that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned to their families.
So I'm just watching these guys as they're walking by you. Were you asking them questions and were they effectively just ignoring
Yes.
you? Did they say hello? Did they say
Yes.
anything at all?
Not a peep. And I asked them specifically, why are you here tonight? Why are you here tonight? They did not acknowledge me. So certainly they were on a mission and they left without saying a word.
So into a hallway and then walking towards the living room. So there they are. It looks like they're emerging from the kitchen area, walking towards the front of the house. That grassy sign that's on the wall right there, that's the Good Vibes sign. There's actually two of those signs in the house. It's very confusing. There's a Good Vibes sign that was lit up in Kaylee Gonsalves's room, and there's also that same grassy Good Vibes sign right down there that faces the front in the living room. So they're walking out of the kitchen area and walking towards the front of the house.
I do believe they're pets. I absolutely do. I believe all these guys are pets. But what I'm asking right now, is it possible that Kaylee and them were at the bar talking to one of these guys? Because they kind of look alike. I'm just saying, how do we know it was JD in the bar? Okay, well, Natural Healing says JD wears that same hat with the emblem and same shoes in other footage, in my opinion. And you could be right, because I do see that too. Robin Davis Duxworth says, I don't know, man. JD is hard to look at anyway. It never stuck out. Wait. Okay, it never struck me as a guy Kaylee would be interested in anyway. Maybe always an informant buddy? Huh. I never thought of that. I've always seen them as high school sweethearts. That's what the energy I picked up. That doesn't look like the King Road house, says the last one on the plane. Last one on the plane. I like your name. Yay, T-Baby caught alive. Hello, darling. How are you? Okay, you guys, let's continue. We made it a minute without Mama D chatting it up. Here we go.
It's in the living room on the second floor there. But that's the first time, Nancy, that we've actually been able to see them at work inside the house.
Right. And looking inside, we did see, so many signs of a typical college life. The items that we saw, red Solo cups. We saw a beer bottle. And there you see the window with the shades drawn, but you see the shadows of them working in that room. But yeah, they were inside. They seemed to be targeted in where they were going and what they were doing, and then they left without a word. Even though I tried to get some comments out of them.
Yeah, it's curious about the kitchen because we're still trying to get confirmation as to whether, the killer entered through that back kitchen sliding door. But, listen, on a crime scene, they're going to look at every inch of that house. I am interested when you said that there was a Washington plate, because the very first thing I thought of when I saw those guys is they don't look local necessarily. And I don't say that because they don't look like they're from Idaho. It just looks like they're moving in a particularly specific way.
Yeah.
And this late in the game, it just screams FBI to me, and maybe an FBI field office that's partially from Washington, maybe an FBI field office from the Idaho area. But did you ask if they were from FBI or what jurisdiction? And they just said, nothing to see here?
Yeah, they would not. They would give me nothing. And I did call Moscow police. No answer, no response. So no explanation for any of this. But they were clearly inside on a mission.
I mean, 25 days of processing a crime scene, to me, it's something I haven't really seen, unless it's, a massive school shooting. That could take 25 days because there's just so many victims and so much territory and so many markings. This one is a really unusual complexity. I can only think it's because there's just so many samples in that house over the years and over the times that the kids have been there that I'm still shocked they only have 113 pieces of evidence. Nancy, thank you for getting that video and for being the eagle eye.
All right, you guys. So let's get this out of here. And this out of here. Clean up our desk, right? We don't need this now. Cowboy tactics. Limited oversight. How Missouri's, like I said, this is an article written about Missouri's drug task forces avoiding accountability, and the authors are William, wait a minute, let me get over here. Are William Freevogel, Mimi Wright, and Brian Munaz, or Muniz. All right, this article was written January 2nd, 2020. And it says, Missouri's federal funded, so that's why I'm talking to you about this, because this is federally funded, which means it's available to all states, right? Missouri's federally funded multi-jurisdictional drug task forces often go by macho names like Mustang, Comet, and Nitro. They buy flashy electronic equipment such as Stingray surveillance skill and military paraphernalia. But some of the most colorful task forces have dodged accountability, failed to hold required public meetings, and used what critics call, quote, cowboy tactics. Court records show that Missouri's federally funded drug task forces have often failed to set up required oversight commissions, failed to hold oversight meetings in public, and repeatedly failed to respond to Sunshine Act requests for public information. Stop right there. Raise your hand with a 1 if you know what the Sunshine Act is. All right? And for those of you that don't know what the Sunshine Act is, this is where we get the FOIAs, where we get the Freedom of Information Act. It's a protection. That means, sunshine, absolute transparency. And that's, they're saying that they don't need to respond to it. So we're going to get into it more. Big Mikey believes, in his opinion, they were on a mission to get rugs. Carla says, anyone who, the older guy in front of the door in the quarter club? Anybody know who that is? Hey, Truth Seeker, how you doing, lovely? You say, I agree, Mama D, the Cowboys. Pick dude looks like a CC guy. All right. I think we're ready, you guys. Here we go. Court records show that the Missouri's federal-funded drug task forces have often failed to set up required oversight commissions, failed to hold oversight meetings in public, and repeatedly failed to respond to Sunshine Act requests for public information. Some of the task forces operated in secret, having abused their power, critics say, by using coercive tactics, buying expensive surveillance equipment, and focusing extensively on marijuana instead of more dangerous rugs. St. Louis Rug Task Force claimed for months that it didn't exist. Stop right there. You guys, help me. It didn't exist. The most narcissistic way of life is, to make the other person feel like they're going crazy because they know damn sure it's really there. But nope, it doesn't exist. Kind of like the, cheating boyfriend that you can't find his phone because it doesn't exist, but yet you can hear him texting on it. All right, here we go. It kills me. St. Louis Drug Task Force claimed for months that it didn't exist. The Comet Rug Task Force in Missouri's Ozark region withheld records based on terrorist exception to Sunshine Law. The Nitro Task Force in northwest Missouri claimed it didn't have to respond to the Sunshine Records request because it was a federal agency, not a state one. The Mustang unit in mid-Missouri claimed it couldn't be taken to court at all. St. Louis County's task force failed to keep minutes of required meetings. In addition, there are allegations of abusive tactics, including when a task force officer in mid-Missouri died of a gunshot wound at a fellow officer's home. The task force refused to turn over records to the officer's mother until a court forced it to 8 years later. Wow. A video of a National Guard helicopter shows Mustang Task Force officers chasing a suspect, and once they subdued the suspect, kicking and tasing him. Defense lawyers accused the St. Charles County Task Force of abusing civil asset forfeiture by conducting coercive interrogations of suspects at a towing company lot and pressuring the suspects to sign over ownership of cash in their car. Supporters of federally funded multi-jurisdictional drug task forces defend them as a model of federal, state, and local cooperation. They say they are well suited for the, quote, war on drugs, which is inherently an interstate problem that affects individual communities. The federal funding targets the connection between violence and drug trafficking. I'm coming up for air, you guys. I'm coming up for air. We'll come back to it. So, what are you all taking in? Laura Smallwood, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say that was a hidden camera detector. Well, you could be right. I think it's Sarah. I think that's how I say that. Or Sarah. Oh, it's Sarah. Made it to a live. Well, welcome, lovely. Welcome. Yvonne Poole says it is supposed to be the owner of the corner club, but looks like Chief Fry to me. He even holds his arm and hands the same. She's talking about the corner club shot. Dana Lynn believes federal forensics undercovers. L. Borque says might be Chief Fry family member. They do look alike. Could be. Carlos says the cops had eyes on that house and the FBI had interest in that house, in my opinion. Lucy Lou Who says, what was really going on in that house? Or she asks. Christine says, I say FBI cowboy hat throws us all a scent so you can't see their faces. Natural Healing says, in my opinion, I think they took samples in kitchen and in Xana's room. I wonder if they were checking the drains, samples of the drains, to see if anything got flushed. You know what I'm saying? To see if this could be a rug-related homicide, quadruple homicide. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. All right, my lovelies, let's get back into it. Here we go. The 18 Missouri task forces, down from 28 in 2013, are typically squads of about a dozen officers from neighboring sheriff's departments who focus on drug enforcement. The drug forces receive federal Edward Byron Justice Assistant grants from the Justice Department and additional state dollars from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. See their little "We Don't Exist" poster? Here we go. Congress created the Byron program in 1988. The federal money is intended for, quote, critical funding necessary to support a range of program areas including law enforcement, prosecution, and court prevention in education, corrections, and community corrections, drug treatment, and enforcement. Federal funding for the program has risen and fallen. It was at a low point at the end of President George W. Bush's administration, but President Barack Obama's administration increased funding significantly, with a boost from Vice President Joe Biden. The 18 task forces currently receiving funding, Missouri got $4.7 million in 2019. The funds are a welcome addition to local law enforcement budgets, said local police and prosecutors. Sheriff Kevin C. Bond of Pettis County said an increase in funding for the task force he heads will help provide a long-awaited cost of living raise for his employees. Bond said his task force always has operated openly. St. Charles County prosecuting attorney Timothy Lomar said in an interview Sorry, I coughed. Said in an interview that one reason the St. Charles Task Force tries to avoid publicity is that operatives are working undercover, often with confidential informants. Boom! Confidential informants. Boom! Confidential informants. Here we go. Lawsuits over accountability. Are you ready to start that? I'm coming up for air, you guys. Where is our little, thing? There it is. Robin Davis Duxworth says, oh my gosh, my phone is acting creepy remembering that Xana supposedly put rugs on the wall and it fell through the structure according to the leaked email. Makes you wonder. Kimberly Ann, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say could be Jack D. Still might have went out back door while cameras were out front. Who knows, right? Alborcase says Adam knows everything. I think they should just talk to him. Close case. Ah, Lord, if it was just that simple. Karen Guy says, I believe there are more covering up than actually investigating for the truth. Sassy says, they said victims/house were targeted. It makes me think of targeting hit to silence whomever, in my opinion. All right, my lovelies, are you ready? Are you ready? All right, I know it's a lot of research today, but you can thank our beautiful 1111 family that is so amazingly intelligent for doing incredible research and bringing us this information for everybody to see and hear and get wiser, right? Knowledge is abundance. Dame Bonbon Daisy. I love that name. Dame Bonbon Daisy. And that's why they had to knock it down, in my opinion. Oh my God. Ooh. Boom. Sarah Pagan says, why don't they use that money to do investigations the right way? And if you guys are wondering why I'm having a hard time reading, it's because chat is really rolling. Carla says, OMG, big boom, confidential informants. Could Maddie and Kaylee informants? That's why I'm asking y'all. If that guy looked familiar that was in the house compared to the photograph that was of the guy that Kaylee and Maddie seemed to be speaking with at the corner club. I'm just asking. Here we go. Let's do this. We got to work, you guys. We got to get back to work. Break over, right? Lawsuits over accountability. Deep breath. Release. Relax. Truth train coming through. It took a 6-year legal crusade by David Rowland, a libertarian lawyer, and Aaron Malin, then a pro-marijuana law student, to open up the federally funded task forces to the public. They have a, quote, cowboy state of mind, said Rowland, who filed multiple lawsuits in Missouri to make the task force more accountable. Quote, you have to see the logos they devise for themselves. These are people who are very confident in what they are doing. They have very flashy names, flashy logos. They seem utterly dismissive of the humanity of people they are investigating. Rowland and his wife, Jennifer, run the Public Interest Freedom Center, a libertarian conservative group. Malin was the director of research for Show Me Cannabis. Malin, now a lawyer, found, quote, no supervision, in a lot of cases, no oversight, bored. He said, quote, a lot of money was being spent on things related to cryptology, license plate reader, decryption devices for iPhone and Android devices. There was also Stingray, a highway inceptor that can simulate a cell phone tower and capture information on cell phones from innocent and guilty persons alike. Now, stop right there. I am reading a magazine article. I read you the authors. These are not my words and not my claims. Radley Balko, who blogs about criminal justice for the Washington Post. See, it's all about Washington. Those those guys had Washington plates. I'm just saying. They had cowboy hats. Here we go. Has criticized the task forces for contributing to the let me look at this word a minute. The militarization of American police forces. He also has criticized them for dodging public accountability. Balko points to unjustified mass drug arrests by multiple jurisdictional task forces as proof of their abuse of power. By way of example, Balko writes about 28 African Americans arrested on drug charges in Hearne, Texas in 2000 and 46 African Americans arrested in Tula, Texas. Courts dismissed most of the charges because they were based on sloppy police work, including unreliable informants. Well, that's a waste of money. I'm coming up for air before we start this one. Just saying. Coming up to topside. Whoops. Hold on. Somehow I keep jumping up. There we go. Sarah Baggins says, yep, Missouri is a cowboy state. Roman Davis Duxford says, because there has informants and dealers are living in that same house, in my opinion. Sarah McCauley says, just started from the beginning. I think that guy is too chunky to be Jack D. We agree with you, love. Dana Lynn says, wasn't that rumors that the two black identical SUVs at LL rumored to be feds? Sassy says, cowboy state of mind. Borcase says, knowledge is power. Hey, Julie Cook, welcome back. You say Cowboys could be working on the sting op because of the dirty rugs in the area along with the tea ricking. Yep, yep, yep. Wildfire says, love how Cowboys fill out their jeans. Just saying. Oh, Lord. I don't really pay attention to that. Here we go, loves. Let's get back into it. Denying its own existence, Rowland and Mallon began filing Sunshine Act requests for task force records 5 years ago. Quote, half of 28 drug task forces refused to respond at all. Rowland recalled in an interview, quote, they said, we are not subject to the Sunshine Law. They are very powerful law enforcement entities. They operate in the dark an awful lot. The St. Louis Rug Task Force denied its existence. Malin filed a Sunshine Act request in 2013. Mark Lawson, attorney manager for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, responded that the department, quote, does not have a, quote, St. Louis Metro Drug Task Force. Maybe Malin was confusing St. Louis with St. Louis County, Lawson suggested. Malin renewed the request, pointing out the Missouri Highway Patrol listed the task force and its telephone number. Lawson responded that the phone number, quote, was just reassigned to someone else, and added, I'm not sure how I can present records of the non-existence of something. Several weeks later, Lawson wrote Malin to say he had taken up the question with the police chief, who, quote, doesn't know what the Missouri Highway Patrol could have been referencing. But records obtained from the Missouri Department of Public Safety show there was a SLMPD drug task force. It also showed that then Chief Samuel Dawson was a project manager and Lawson himself, quote, authorized official in charge of receiving $200,000 in federal money. Quote, wouldn't you know, the person who signed those documents for the St. Louis Rug Task Force was the attorney who told Aaron Malin it didn't exist, Rowland said. Lawson maintained the department didn't use the terms task force, but referred to the group by the federal name, the Ed Byron Grant. St. Louis Circuit Judge Mark H. Neal ordered the city to turn over the requested records last year. Neal determined that Lawson's initial denials weren't purposeful because of the name confusion and thus didn't warrant a hefty fine. Rowland scoffs at the explanation because Lawson was experienced and had signed dozens of documents to receive the grant. Rowland notes that police and rug task forces have enormous budgets. Quote, the St. Louis Metro Police Department paid for most of its new headquarters with forfeiture money. They paid in the neighborhood of $2 million from forfeitures, and they still have plenty left over. The St. Louis County Multi-Jurisdictional Rug Task Force also broke open records laws by holding public meetings for years without proper notice and fabricating minutes of those meetings. Quote, the St. Louis County Rug Task Force meetings were never more than 3 or 4 minutes long, and they would dispense checks and leave, Rowland said. Malin's suit against the county led to a, quote, or not quote, led to a consent decree requiring the county task force to comply with the law by posting proper notices and compiling minutes of the meeting. We're going to be jumping into Nitrile and Mustang. How's everybody doing? Hey, Joyful Dolphin. You say, I love your choice of words, Julie Rugg and Rappaking. Sarah McCulley says the LL audio definitely backs up the drug theory. Once upon a crime time. Hello, hello. Am I your favorite voice in all of true crime? Oh my gosh. You just warmed my heart. You made me blush. Wow, you guys are so kind to me. Go ahead and check out Once Upon a Crime Time and see what's going on over there because that's an excellent channel. Excellent channel. It's so good to see you. All right, lovelies. What are your thoughts on all of this? I mean, to me, well, wow. There's so much. There's so much to unpack. Dame Bon Daisy says, I could see the Cowboys searching for the goods he cannot find, so knocking them down. Christine says, I prefer Indians myself, the baddies. Okay. Laura Smallwood says, Oregon standoff with beds looks like tail cowboy. Sarah says, can I recommend a channel that has a theory on a guy who looks like JD and the guy is in the corner club? Sure, hon. Absolutely. All right, you guys. Tommy, I would just again, I am awestruck that you said that. I appreciate that so much. Give me a one if I'm your favorite voice in true crime. Are you guys ready to do this? Once Upon a Crime Time says, not sure wildfire, probably not. Maybe wait for tomorrow night. Guess see what's all happening. Investigations going on. Right, right. I adore you, Tommy. I love your vibe. You are so authentic, and I'm just really happy you swung in. I like your vibe, dude. You rock. Ah, thank you so much, Pub Giant. Says I love this channel. Ah, you guys are amazing. Love you, Tommy. Talk to you later, hun. Okay, let's get back into the read, you guys. Stay focused, you guys. We're back to work. Breakover. All right. Nitro and Mustang. When Malin telephoned the Nitro Task Force in northwest Missouri. Hold on just a minute, you guys. Sorry about that, you guys. Nitro and Mustang. When Mellon telephoned the Nitro Task Force in northwest Missouri, those answering the phone denied belonging to the task force. Eventually, Nitro told Malin it was not a state governmental body subject to the Sunshine Law because it was attached to the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, so it claimed it didn't have to turn over records. The Mustang Task Force operating out of Cole County in mid-Missouri, it first refused to search for the records Malin requested and later put up a long, unsuccessful legal battle to withhold records. Former Cole County prosecuting attorney Mark Richardson initially said Malin's requests were too burdensome and refused to look for the documents. Malin brought in Roland and the ACLU of Missouri, but Richardson ignored them as well. Finally, Cole County Circuit Judge Patricia S. Joyce ruled that Richardson had, quote, purposely refused to comply with the Sunshine Law and ordered a record-setting $12,000 penalty plus $28,000 in attorney fees. Hiding records for a decade. Melissa Winnie, a member of the East Central Drug Task Force, died of a gunshot wound at another officer's home in 2008 in Audrain County. Melissa Winnie. The sheriff said it was suicide, but the circumstances were suspicious. Winnie had filed a formal complaint with her department a year earlier about sexual harassment. After the shooting, Winnie's mother, Joanna, tried to get police records, but authorities refused to turn them over, saying that there was a ongoing investigation and that Winnie's sexual harassment complaint was a personal matter. Quote, even as late as 8 years after her death, they were telling me the request was denied because the case was open, said Malin, though there was no evidence of a continuing investigation. Kylie Rodney. Finally, Malin Roland and the ACLU sued for the records last year, about a decade after her death, when his mother received the records at the order of Audrain County Circuit Judge Rachel Bringer Shepard, who found the evidence, quote, I gotta look at this word. Boy, that's a hard one for Mama. Okay. Uncontroverted. Uncontroverted. I learn something every day. That the investigators were inactive. Uncontroverted. Found the evidence uncontroverted that the investigations were inactive. I gotta learn, right? In mid-Missouri, Mustang Task Force detectives Michael Chen and Kip Bartlett went to Timothy Whistle's house in 2014 to serve a warrant. Whistle drove off, and the officers pursued. At the end of the chase, Whistle puts his hands up and lay on the ground. Bartlett sat on him and held his wrists. A Missouri National Guard helicopter captured what happened next. With the camera rolling from above, Chen appeared to kick Whistle in the head and tase him. Chen said he acted because of Whistle's, quote, fugitive moves. The Kansas City Star published the video and it went viral. Mustang settled a lawsuit filed by Whistle in 2017. All right, I will grab this link right now. Let me get it highlighted. And I will add this into our pinned comments at the end here for you. It goes on to say, if you have a conservative community that wants their law enforcement agencies to consider that a priority, then those priorities are going to be met. I try to have a good handle on what my community's perception is of rugs, and then I try to tailor our law enforcement around those feelings of the community. Our community remains pretty conservative and sees rugs as a scourge. Crime doesn't occur in a vacuum. So Roland and Malin, forgive me, say their legal crusade has had several positive results. Missouri law now clearly establishes that task force have to respond to Sunshine Act requests. In addition, task forces are much better at announcing regular meetings, posting agendas, and keeping public meeting minutes. In addition, they point out that the number of federally funded task forces has declined since they began their accountability crusade, shrinking from 28 to 18. That's a small step forward, they say. Now, I think we should have a drug task force, but I believe it should be on the up and up, in my humble opinion, for all to see with complete transparency, right? Rillamoto? Hello, hello. You say one of the ones that walked in front of the van, I believe got the front passenger seat, had his phone in his hand trying to cover it with a bright-ass picture of bodies from one of the rooms, in my opinion. Hello, Cynthia Paxton. You said, I'm a newbie here, and I want to say you, my lovely, have what's known as a radio voice, just beautiful. Oh, thank you. You guys, you're so kind to me. You truly are. You make me blush. You make me blush. Thank you. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to give you a little bit to think about. I mean, I can't shake the fact that a lot of the locals have brought up many, many times they didn't understand why there was all these black, shiny, SUVs in the area of Washington, where they had them in Pullman. There was some in Moscow. Even Ian Harsh described this really fancy, like, shiny SUV, Um, And it really makes me pause now. Maddie. Wait. Let's back it up. They're going to get you girls for that, Maddie. They're going to get you girls. Maddie, what did you tell Adam? Oh, like, I told Adam everything. Who's Adam? Really, you guys? It just really makes me wonder. Sassafras says one that doesn't put civilians' lives in jeopardy over the ones who actually signed up for the front lines. Right. I don't believe in coercion. You know, think about it. Every person that maybe it's a first, I say first offense of a drug crime, first ever, right? And so forth. They should be protected in a certain way. It should be mandatory that they go through rehab, that they are monitored and so forth to get them the help they need. But there should be no deals allowed to be made behind the scenes. None. Because that's how you could get somebody killed real easy. So that's my personal opinion. It doesn't mean it's right. And you may have the opposite opinion. And I respect, everybody's right to express their opinion. So, this is a case that the more I think about the bigger picture, I don't think it's a far-fetched to think that they were in the house checking drains. That's what I think the cowboy tactics are. I think that they were in that house checking the drains, maybe between the walls even. We don't know. Just places, seeing if there was anything that connect this crime to rugs, right? All right, my lovelies. Yvonne Poole says, everyone believes Adam is the guy from the corner club, but he may be a different Adam. And that's what I really wonder. That's really what I wonder. Huh. Uppercase says, quote, and I have a hard time with the word, but I want to learn it. Uncontroverted, to refer to evidence in a case in which the defiant neither testified nor presented any witness, did not violate the defendant's Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Uncontroverted. Your dogs are laying here waiting for the goat to scream. All right, you lovelies. It is time for Mama D to get up here. I am taking my 21-year-old son out for a delicious birthday supper at a little supper club. And so, with all my love to each of you, from your favorite true crime voice, I love you to the moon and back. Here's your goat. Now, if you have headphones or your boss is listening, make sure you mute. I love you guys. Get ready for tomorrow, Friday. We'll figure something out to do together. Stay tuned. It'll be a surprise. I love you. To the moon and back.